Picture this. You're driving down what should be a normal highway. You expect a delay, maybe a few hours. Instead, your car barely moves for days, then weeks, then months. You run out of fuel. You start cooking food on the roadside. You sleep in your vehicle. Children grow up in traffic. Businesses appear, disappear, and reappear again. And when it's finally over, 8 full years have passed. This is not a myth. This actually happened. And it's widely considered the longest and worst traffic jam in human history. The story begins in China, along one of the country's most important transport arteries, the Beijing-Tibet Expressway. This highway connects Beijing to Inner Mongolia and beyond, acting as a vital lifeline for coal, construction materials, food supplies, and everyday commuters. By the late 2000s, China's economy was booming at an almost unbelievable pace. Cities were expanding, infrastructure projects were exploding, and coal was king. Every day, tens of thousands of heavy trucks loaded with coal traveled toward Beijing to fuel power plants, factories, and heating systems. The road was already under pressure, but what happened next turned stress into total collapse. In August 2010, a perfect storm formed. Massive road construction projects began along key sections of the expressway, reducing lanes and slowing traffic to a crawl. At the same time, coal transport surged even higher than usual. Then came vehicle breakdowns. One stalled truck led to another, and suddenly, traffic stopped completely. At first, drivers thought it would clear in a few hours. Then a day passed. Then 2. Then a week. Cars and trucks stretched for more than 100 kilometers, bumper to bumper, barely moving. Some vehicles advanced less than a single kilometer per day. But this was only the beginning. Here's the part that makes this traffic jam unlike anything else in history. When the initial jam finally loosened, the underlying problems were never fixed. The road remained overloaded. Construction continued. Coal demand kept rising. So the traffic jam didn't really end. It paused, then returned again and again for 8 long years. From roughly 2010 to 2018, severe gridlock became a recurring reality on this route. Drivers didn't just get stuck once. Many found themselves trapped repeatedly, sometimes for weeks at a time, year after year. Life inside the traffic jam became its own strange ecosystem. Local villagers quickly realized that thousands of stranded drivers meant opportunity. Makeshift roadside markets appeared almost overnight. People sold bottled water at 10 times the normal price. Instant noodles, eggs, fruit, cigarettes, and even gasoline were sold directly to drivers through car windows. Some vendors made more money during traffic jams than they did in entire farming seasons. Drivers adapted too. Truckers began carrying cooking equipment. They grilled food on portable stoves beside their vehicles. Some played cards on the asphalt. Others slept under their trucks to escape the summer heat. People shared meals, stories, frustrations, and rumors about when the road might finally clear. Children rode bicycles between stationary trucks. Mechanics walked miles through the jam offering repairs. Toilets became a luxury. Hygiene deteriorated. Tempers flared. Fights broke out. Yet at the same time, communities formed among people who had never met before and might never meet again. Psychologically, the toll was enormous. Traffic jams are stressful even when they last 30 minutes. Studies show they increase heart rate, blood pressure, anxiety, and aggression. Now imagine that stress stretched over weeks. Drivers reported exhaustion, insomnia, anger, and helplessness. Many lost income because deliveries were delayed or canceled. Some truckers missed family events, medical appointments, and even funerals. And yet quitting wasn't always an option. Turning around was often impossible. Exits were blocked. Fuel was limited. The jam had a grip on people that felt almost inescapable. So why did it take 8 years to fix? The answer lies in a combination of infrastructure limits, economic pressure, and policy delays. China's rapid growth had outpaced its road capacity. The expressway simply wasn't designed to handle such massive volumes of heavy trucks. Coal transport relied heavily on road freight instead of rail, putting extreme strain on highways. Construction projects meant to improve the road ironically made congestion worse in the short term. And coordinating fixes across provinces, companies, and government agencies proved slow and complex. Each time traffic eased, it was treated as a temporary victory instead of a warning. Long-term solutions were delayed while short-term demand kept growing. Eventually, change did come. Rail freight expanded. Coal transport regulations were adjusted. Road infrastructure was improved. Traffic management systems became smarter. By around 2018, the legendary gridlock finally faded into history. But the story doesn't end there, because this traffic jam became a global wake-up call. Urban planners, economists, and transportation experts studied it closely. It showed how modern systems can fail spectacularly when growth outpaces planning. It revealed how dependent economies can become on single transport routes. And it exposed how fragile everyday life really is when logistics break down. Think about it. Everything we rely on, food, fuel, electricity, medicine, moves through roads like these. When traffic stops, society doesn't just slow down. It strains, bends, and sometimes breaks. This 8-year traffic jam also forced experts to rethink how congestion works. It wasn't caused by a single accident or disaster. It was caused by success. Economic growth created demand faster than infrastructure could handle it. In a strange way, this jam was a symbol of prosperity colliding with physical limits. There's also a deeper human lesson hidden in the gridlock. Despite the frustration, people adapted. They created microeconomies. They helped strangers. They survived boredom, stress, and uncertainty together. It was inconvenient, uncomfortable, and sometimes miserable. But it showed how resilient people can be when systems fail them. At the same time, it showed how easily our modern lives can be disrupted. A road designed for movement became a place of stillness. A symbol of progress became a reminder of limits. Today, when you complain about being stuck in traffic for an hour, remember this story. Remember the drivers who spent weeks living on a highway. Remember the vendors who turned gridlock into opportunity. Remember that for 8 years, one of the world's busiest roads became a slow-moving parking lot. Because the worst traffic jam in history wasn't just about cars and trucks. It was about planning, pressure, people, and patience. It was a warning carved into asphalt, stretching for kilometers, reminding us that speed and growth mean nothing if the road ahead can't support them. And the next time you're stuck at a red light tapping the steering wheel, waiting to move, just be glad you're not still waiting 8 years later.